All right, it is 12:15, so we are going to go ahead and get started. So howdy, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy to see you all here. We got some rain in College Station last night. Hopefully Brian got rain too. My name is Anna. This is our faculty staff Living Well yoga class. So we have 45 minutes together. Whether you're joining virtually or in person, I always recommend that you have some nice space around you. We have blocks here in the room, but if you are joining from your office or at home, you can use a pillow, you can use a book, you can use a water bottle for any sort of like standing things that we do. And that block is mostly used to bring the ground up to you. So I call it a pose enhancer. So it's not any limiting in any way. Let's see, announcement wise. The only thing I think I have for y'all is that the Employee Wellness Fair is coming up. And so that's on October 3rd. Okay, October 3rd. So it's a Tuesday. So we're super excited. I know we're going to be offering a yoga class and a body blaster class on that day too. So if you want to do both, you can. If you want to do one that day, but they'll be here at the rec as well. And the yoga will be virtual. So my friends virtual can look out for that coming up as well. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and get started with the meditation and breathing. We'll get comfortable. We can lay on our backs, sides, bellies, seated, whatever feels good for you. And then we'll get into our warm up, standing strength and balance, and final stretches. And that is our class for today. So go ahead and just get comfortable to start. And I'll get our music going. There's not as much Fleetwood Mac today, but if you want to listen to anything you can as well, or you can just have silence if you want any sort of music. It is up to you if you're joining virtually. So just getting comfortable wherever we are, like I said, laying on our backs, maybe feels good, maybe staying seated. If we want to, we can sit on a pillow or a block. Maybe starting to close our eyes, shifting our focus inward, helping us to check in on our bodies and our minds and how we're feeling as we step onto our mats today into this space. Maybe starting to observe any tension that we might be noticing or feeling. Just holding space for that today, being mindful, maybe giving those places some extra love and care as we move into our poses. I invite you to start to become aware of your breath. Noticing and observing maybe where you're feeling the breath today, just becoming aware of it. That's what mindfulness is, becoming aware of our body's feelings, sensations, emotions. I encourage you to think about that as we move through our poses today, always being mindful of how each pose feels in our bodies, knowing that we are in control and we have the power to decide what feels best for us today. So that might mean changing up the pose to fit our bodies for today. As you start to become more aware of your breath, we'll start to find our diaphragmatic breath. Breathing in through the belly up into the chest, and then exhaling from the chest back down to the belly. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. If that feels good for you today. Once again, we can always change up our breath practice as well throughout our class to whatever works best for us today. If we're finding that diaphragmatic breath, thinking about slowing down the pace of our inhale and lengthening our exhales. That really starts to down-regulate our central nervous system, bringing that sense of calm and peace and relaxation into our mind and into our bodies. Maybe setting our intention for our practice today. Maybe that's not even something that we want to get out of the practice, but maybe it's just a word or a feeling. That could be gratitude, happiness and joy, grace, peace. Maybe deciding what that word is for you today. And utilizing that as we move into our physical poses. Letting go of any expectations, letting go of any competition, and suspending all judgment of ourselves and others as we come into this space together today. When we're ready, wherever we are, we'll just bring our knees into our chest, grabbing underneath our knees on our hamstrings, rocking side to side. And then when we're ready, we can slowly make our way back up to a seated position, maybe dropping the knees to one side, using our arms to press ourselves up. I'll give us plenty of time at the end of class to do some stretches on our back too, but we'll sit up nice and tall, either on our blocks or off, or pillows or whatever that might be. Legs can be crossed or extended, or knees can be bent, whatever feels good. Let's start to lift our arms up and overhead with our breath. And as we gather the breath, we'll bring our hands to heart center. We can keep our eyes closed or maybe take our gaze down to the ground. Just starting to see how that motion feels in our shoulders. Maybe the arms want to reach straight up and overhead. Maybe the arms want to circle out by our sides. Again, whatever feels best for us today. Just starting to get into the habit or noticing how it feels moving with our breath. So inhaling, the arms will lift up, and exhaling, we'll gather the breath at our heart center. With each inhale, can you lengthen your spine even a little bit more, reaching up through the crown of the head? Let's take one more gather of our breath here, reminding ourselves of our intention or our word for our class today. And then this time, as we inhale, we'll reach our arms up to the sky, maybe taking our gaze a little higher, rolling our shoulders back. As we exhale, we'll place the hands behind us. Palms can reach back or out to the sides or forward, whatever feels good. And then we'll roll the shoulders back to lift the heart even higher, finding that nice extension in our spine. As we take one more inhale, arms reach up. Exhaling, finding a nice little seated forward fold so the hands can walk forward. Noticing how this feels in our spine today. And then from here, let's walk our hands over to the right side of our mat. Can we place our right hand down on the ground? As we look up to the left arm reaches up. It's a nice side body stretch. And then from here, we'll roll to the left side. Right arm comes up, inhaling. As we exhale, left hand reaches down, side body stretch. And then from here, the right hand reaches to the floor, feeling that in our side. We walk the hands back to the front of our mat. And we continue this, maybe flowing it together, a nice circular motion in our spine. Right hand reaches down to the floor, left arm opens. We can start to reach the right arm up, rolling over to our other side, left hand down. And then maybe even just picking up the pace of this, feeling this nice rotational movement, moving at our own pace, inhaling as we lift up, and then exhaling over to the other side. So we're just making some nice circles or half circles, I guess, with our body. We'll take one more round on this side. And then stopping as we meet in the middle so that we can reverse it. Walking to the left hand down, right arm comes up. And we roll to the other side. Maybe noticing how this nice fluid motion feels in our body and continuing with whatever pace feels best for us. We'll take 2 more rounds on this side. Meeting back in the middle whenever we're ready. Maybe noticing the hips, noticing maybe we can reach a little further in our seated forward fold now. As we come back to the center, we'll inhale the arms up to the sky. This time as we exhale, twisting to the right side. Inhaling, coming back to center, and exhaling to the left. Just taking this again at your own pace here. Being gentle with our spines as we're still warming up our bodies. Finishing with one last twist to the left. As we inhale, we'll meet back together in the center. Exhaling, hands come back behind us. We roll our shoulders back and lift our heart to the sky. Inhaling, arms float back to center. And then exhaling, we'll bring our hands to the front of the mat, press ourselves up, coming into all fours, hands and knees. Fingers are soft, but they spread out nice and wide like starfish on the mat. Right under our shoulders, knees under our hips. So there's a little space here. As we start to move through our cat and cow, belly relaxes to the mat. Chest and heart lifts as our gaze lifts, moving to our cow, and then exhaling, rounding into our cat. We can be up on the balls of the feet, or we can rest on the tops of the feet, whatever feels best. Just flowing our cat and cow at our own pace here. Enjoying this nice full flexion and extension in our spine, and feeling free to add on any other organic movements that might feel good. Maybe we want to move from our cat or our cow and wag our tail, feeling that nice side flexion. Feels like nighttime because here in the studio we have some nice little crickets singing to us as well. Feeling free to hold your cat or cow, maybe release your wrist. And then when we're ready, we'll meet back in our center, our all fours, hands and knees. From here, pressing our right hand and our left knee into the mat, our left arm reaches out in front, and then our right leg extends, finding this nice, strong bird dog position. So eye gaze to the floor, fingers reach forward so that the biceps by the ear, and the heel is at hip height. Back leg is long, like we're pushing into a wall behind us. Exhaling, we switch sides. Pressing into the left hand, right knee. Inhale, right arm, left leg, and finding our breath here in this pose. Just checking in with our full spinal alignment, connecting to our shoulders and our hips, and then we release. Adding on to this today, inhaling, we'll go left arm, right leg. As we exhale, we pull the elbow to the knee, rounding into our cat. Inhaling, lengthen. Exhaling, rounding one more time. Inhaling, lengthen, and then exhale, hand and knee to the mat. Switching sides. Inhaling, right arm, left leg. Exhale, nose to knee or maybe elbow to knee. Inhale, reach. Exhale, round. One last inhale, and then switch. Let's take one more round of this on our sides, each side. If we feel any wrist tension, we can also always make a fist on the mat, or think about pressing into where the thumb meets the palm, softening the fingers. That sometimes also alleviates that wrist tension, softening our elbows. When we finish on both of our sides, we'll meet back in our all fours. And then from here, we're just lifting that right foot. So the toes are going to come off the mat. If you're joining on Zoom, I probably, you can't even see, but the right foot is going to lift. And then we're just going to take it out to the right side, find that nice external rotation. And then we bring it in, finding that internal rotation. From here, matching our gaze, can we look towards the right foot? And then when we bring it to the other side, we look towards the left. Feeling that in our spine here. So nice little hip release, just moving at our own pace. We'll do one more round on this side. Taking note of how our hips might be feeling today. And then coming back to center, we'll switch sides. So the left toes lift, the foot comes out to the left side. And then we take it across. And then we add in our gaze, looking towards the left, internal rotation, and then looking to the right, external rotation. Taking one more round. Coming back to center when we're ready. From here, we'll take our right foot and press it back, pushing the heel down towards the mat, checking in with how our calf is feeling today. And then the knee comes back, we'll switch. Left foot goes back, pressing the heel back. From here, in this position, we have the option to extend both legs, coming into a full plank position, or we can drop the knees to the mat, staying nice and strong in the core. Eye gaze look to the top of our mat. Finding one more round of breath. And then as we're ready, knees come down to the floor, to the mat, opening to the long sides. We sit the hips towards the heels, finding child's pose. Whichever version of child's pose we want to move into today, maybe the head's on the block, arms extended. Head can come to the mat, maybe arms want to rest behind us. The palms can come together on top of our head. Taking note of how this feels today for the first time. Maybe our hips are feeling tight. We can always widen our knees as well if that feels better. And then as we're ready, we'll extend the arms out in front of us. As we inhale, shifting forward to find our plank once again, this time coming to our knees for our plank, hands under shoulders. As we exhale, we can come down, little yoga push-up so that the elbows come in by the sides. Inhale, press back up. Exhale, child's pose. Inhaling, we shift forward once again. Exhaling, we can come into that little yoga push-up or all the way down to the mat. Inhaling, we press back up to our plank. And then exhaling, child's pose. So starting to feel our core, our shoulders and upper body. Inhale, shifting to our plank. Exhale, push up or chaturanga all the way down. This time, tops of the feet on the mat. We can press back to plank or we can inhale, shoulders back, using our total back strength, reaching our feet back, toes on the mat, hands lift. Hands meet the mat as we exhale, press back, child's pose. So this is our half series. We'll flow it together. Inhale, feet, we come forward. Exhale, push up or chaturanga. Inhale back to your plank or to your cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Moving through this 2 more times at your own pace. Taking whichever options feel best for your body today. Remembering shoulder blades are squeezing, glutes are squeezing on our cobra. And then as we're ready, we'll meet back in child's pose. From here, we have the option to stay in child's pose or tuck our toes, lifting our hips up to the sky in our first down dog of the day. Maybe walking our dog, bending knees right and left. Thinking about pressing our weight back if we're in our down dog. The heels do not have to touch the floor. Child's pose is also always an option. And then from our down dog or child's pose, we're going to walk our feet to our hands or step to the top of our mat, finding a forward fold. So hands can come onto our block, once again, bringing that ground up to us, softening our knees in our forward fold. Maybe bending knees right or left. Maybe noticing if you have one side that feels tighter than the other. We can find ragdoll. We can shake our head yes and no, releasing our back gently. Then we'll release our hands back to the block, the mat, the shins. We inhale, lift up to lengthen our spine for flat back. Exhale, soften and fold. Inhale one more time, lift halfway. Exhale, soften. This time, inhale, reverse swan dive. Arms can lift to the sky. Exhale, we sit back, hands to center for chair pose. Weights in the heels, knees in line with toes. Inhale one more time, maybe finding a baby back bend at the top. And exhale, sit back, child's pose. Child's pose, chair pose. Moving through our full sun salutations. Inhale to lift. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, soften. Stepping back to find your plank, knees or toes. Inhaling, shifting forward. Exhaling, lower. Inhale, we can come up to full cobra, shoulder blades squeeze if we want to, or up dog, knees lift. Exhale, child's pose or down dog. Inhaling as we step to the top of our mat or lunge or whatever feels best. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair, option to reach the arms all the way out. Inhale, let's lift. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine, half lift. Exhale, soften. Stepping back to find your plank. Inhale, exhale, chaturanga dandasana, or your little push-up. Inhale, cobra up dog. Exhale, child's pose or down dog. Stepping, lunging, walking to the top of our mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair. Moving through your sun salutations. Let's take 2 more rounds. Just at your own pace, feeling free to add on anything else that you'd like to today, or omitting anything that doesn't serve you. Thinking about moving with our breath here. Okay, so I had to give Christine a little love. Finishing out your sun salutations. Whenever you're ready, we'll meet back in our child's pose or down dog. We're not going to be there too long, but that's where we'll gather, so no rush. Rounding out your sun salutations. Once we get to our child's pose or our down dog, we're taking our eye gaze to the top of our mat, lifting our right leg up to the sky. We can keep the left knee down if we'd like. As we exhale, pull the leg forward and through, finding that nice lunge position. Hands can frame the foot. And from here, we're walking our hands up our thigh, meeting in this low lunge but tall position, squeezing through our back glute. Inhale, left arm lifts. Exhale, we lean in towards the knee. Just getting our hips ready for some standing strength. Inhale as we come back to center, and exhale, hands meet the mat. From here, lifting the left knee, stepping back to our down dog or child's pose. This time, left leg lifts, maybe getting used to that three-legged dog or knee down. Exhale, pull it forward and through, low lunge, rounding through the spine, lowering our knee. When we're ready, we walk our hands up. Inhale, right arm lifts. Exhale, we lean into the knee. One more big inhale, come back to center. Exhale, hands come to the mat. This time we step the right foot to meet the left in a forward fold at the top of our mat. When we're ready, we'll slowly roll ourselves up, maybe hands on the thighs for support. Roll the shoulders back and down. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. Exhale, sitting back into our chair pose. Knees in line with toes, cores brace, nice heavy tailbone. Moving into a little balance in our chair today, we're shifting our weight into the left foot. Can we lift the right heel? Excellent. Arms can reach out in front of us if we'd like. From here, we're coming up an inch and down an inch, up an inch and down an inch. One more time, holding it nice and strong here. As we lift our arms up to the sky, balancing on our left foot, can we slowly peel that right foot off? Beautiful. Hands come back to heart center. Keeping this leg lifted, we're sending it back behind us, finding our warrior three. So just a little hinge in the hip. The head stays above the heart in warrior three, and our arms can float up to the front, out to airplane, or even behind us, whatever feels best. Finding that nice strong balance in our left leg. Core is strong here. Toe can always tap down, does not have to be high. Taking one more round of breath. Wherever our arms are, we're cartwheeling our arms, stepping long step back with our right foot, meeting in warrior two. So left knee bends. Beautiful. Maybe using the length of our mat, squeezing our glutes to align our hips, making sure our knees feel good, shoulders back and down. Excellent. From here, left palm flips, legs stay where they are, but the arms flip and reach back. This right hand can wrap around the low back or gently rest on the right leg, reverse warrior. Eye gaze maybe up to the left hand, maybe to the side, maybe to the back foot, whatever feels good in our neck. Taking a big inhale. As we exhale, cartwheeling the hands down to the mat, left and then right, rotating our hips to face the mat. We step the left foot back, meeting in our down dog or child's pose, and then we have the option to move through our half series here. So maybe we want to stay and breathe. If we want to keep moving, we can flow from our plank to our down dog or chaturanga to cobra. This time, left leg lifts to the sky. Eye gaze to the top of the mat as we step the foot forward and through. And then we step the right foot in, finding our forward fold once again. Maybe bending our knees, shaking our head. From here, we slowly roll up, restacking the spine, finding our mountain pose. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, sitting back into our chair. Moving into our round two. So shifting the weight to the right foot, left heel lifts. From here, we can float our arms out in front of us if we'd like, or keep our hands out in heart center. We lift up an inch and down an inch, up an inch and down an inch. One more up, holding it nice and strong in the bottom wherever we are. From here, our arms float up to the sky and our left leg lifts as we find our balance in our right leg. Knowing where we're going into our warrior three, we can release the hands if we'd like back to heart center or float them back behind us as we hinge from our hips. The left leg comes back. The mirrors are there. Arms can always come here if we feel more balance out to the sides. Thinking about squeezing in our back glute. Our body looks like a capital letter T from the side if our arms are extended. Finding one more round of breath here. On our next inhale, arms cartwheel back, left foot steps back, warrior two. Landing our feet, right foot forward, knees in line with toes. Left arm is invisible if we're looking at our right hand in the mirror. Relaxing the shoulders, making sure the knees are happy. Right palm flips to the sky. Reach back, reverse warrior. Opening up through the right side of the body. Checking in on where our neck feels best, our gaze feels best. Taking one more round of breath. Inhaling, exhaling, we cartwheel the hands down to the mat. Stepping back to down dog or child's pose with our right foot, an option to move through our half series here. Meeting back in our child's pose or our down dog. I'm gonna turn the face you guys, okay. From here, we'll inhale to our three-legged dog, right leg to the sky. This time, bending that leg and letting it come across our other leg for our scorpion, releasing through the hip as much as it feels good for us, letting gravity do its work. As we inhale, we come back to center. Exhaling, pulling the right leg forward and through. We're meeting in pigeon pose today. Making sure the hips are square on the mat, foot is flexed. First thing I always recommend is to look back at your other leg, walk it back if you want to, top of the foot is on the mat. And then you can stay here or come down to your forearms. You can come to your block. I like also to place the block under my hip. Remembering that we can also move into a seated figure four. If this feels better for us, the right leg just comes across. Maybe taking our gaze to the floor, closing our eyes, and just finding our breath here. Maybe remembering, thinking back to the intention we set for ourselves or our word for our class today. Relaxing the muscles in our face and our jaw. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly walk ourselves up to our hands if we're not already there. Hands frame the front leg. We tuck the back toe, lift the left knee, and then just step our right foot back. Bending knees right and left, taking note of how they feel, maybe releasing any tension. And then when we're ready, we'll move to our other side. Left leg, as we inhale, we lift it to the sky. Bend the knee, letting the leg drop over our right. Feeling that nice hip release. On our next inhale, we come back to center. As we exhale, we pull the leg forward and through, finding that nice pigeon pose on the other side. In our hips, we really want to think about not dropping to this side. So that's why the block or a pillow is always great to put underneath our hip. And then if we'd like, we can come down to our forearms. This pose really gets into that piriformis. It's a tiny muscle right around your glutes, your maximus minimus and medius. We can also get a nice hip release if we want to. Staying up on our hands is going to stretch through our right hip. Relaxing through our mouth and our jaw once again, maybe closing our eyes, sending our breath to our hips. When you're ready, we'll slowly walk our hands up. From this position, we are going to come back to our last down dog of the day. So we'll lift the right knee, left leg steps back. We can bend the knees right and left, taking whatever we want to here in our last down dog. And then when we're ready, slowly lowering the knees, meeting back in our child's pose. We have the option to stay here in our child's pose if we'd like, or we can slowly walk our hands up, shifting ourselves around, extending our legs on the mat. And we'll slowly lower ourselves down, using our leg as a brake, rounding through the spine. From here, bringing our feet underneath our hips. Hands can come by the sides. Feet are nice and close, pressing into our feet as we engage through our core, slowly pushing our hips up to the sky for that bridge pose. And we've got some options here in our bridge. As we inhale, we can lift. As we exhale, we can lower. We have the option as well to take the block in between our thighs, maybe getting a little more inner thigh pelvic floor action as we squeeze the block to lift, exhaling lower. We can also lift our hips up to the sky if we want to make this restorative position today, taking the block underneath the low back. Maybe letting right where our sacrum is, letting the hips release, arms out to the sides. We can let our knees fall in, open, and finding that restorative bridge position. So lots of options here. You can make this active, you can make this restorative, whatever feels best for your body today. We're going to be here for a few more rounds of breath. Maybe you want to hold your bridge at the top. That's another option as well. When you're ready, we'll slowly meet back on our mats. We can set that block to the side. We're pulling our knees into our chest and rolling over onto our side. Arms come out to that T position, finding a nice spinal twist. And whichever version of spinal twist feels good. I know sometimes another option is just to keep the feet on the floor and let the knees fold over to one side, keeping our shoulders on the mat. Maybe the gaze wants to look in the opposite direction, whatever feels best for us. We can also let our knees fall onto our block if that feels better. When you're ready, we'll slowly bring our knees back to our center or our feet back to center, and then we can let our knees fall over to the other side. When you're ready, we'll slowly bring our knees back to center, taking any last and final poses here that we want to. And then when we're ready, we'll meet in our favorite rest pose for final relaxation. We can lay on our backs, on our sides, on our bellies, feet on the mat, knees bent, feet together, knees open, whatever feels best. Finding that position that's going to bring you the most sense of calm and peace and relaxation. Taking these last few minutes, maybe to reflect on your intention or word that you set for yourself for your practice today. Bringing your focus back to your breath, thinking about our diaphragmatic breath once again, inhaling from the belly up into the chest, and then really thinking about lengthening your exhale from your chest back down to your belly. Starting to wiggle your fingers and toes, just bringing that small movement and awareness back into your body and your space. Whenever you're ready, we'll slowly bring our knees into our chest or roll over onto our side using our arm as a pillow. When we feel adjusted and ready, we can use our arm to press ourselves up, coming back to a seated position. Sitting up nice and tall. Let's inhale, reach our arms up to the sky. Taking one last big collective breath together. Gathering our breath back into our heart centers. The light in me honors, sees, and observes the light in each and every one of you. Thank you.